If you are a pensioner living in the United Kingdom, you need to pay close attention to the calendar right now because a major shift in travel rights is taking place that could change how you get around your community forever. As we approach April 8th, 2026, millions of older adults across England are finding themselves caught in a legislative squeeze that links their right to free local travel directly to the state pension age, which is officially on the move. For years, the gold standard for retirement freedom was the ability to hop on a local bus without reaching for a wallet. But the goalposts are being shifted, and if you do not understand these new eligibility windows, you could be left standing at the stop while the bus drives away. This is not just a minor clerical update. It is a fundamental change to the English National Concessionary Travel Scheme that reflects a broader government push to align all age-related benefits with the rising state pension threshold. The core of the issue stems from the Pensions Act 2014, which set in motion a gradual increase in the state pension age from 66 to 67. While this has been discussed in hushed tones in Westminster for over a decade, the actual impact is hitting the pavement this month. Because the free bus pass in England is legally tied to the age at which you can claim your state pension, anyone who is expecting to celebrate their 66th birthday this year with a brand new plastic pass may be in for a rude awakening. Instead of qualifying the moment you hit 66, many residents will now find they have to wait an additional 12 months or even longer, depending on their specific date of birth. This transition period between 2026 and 2028 is the danger zone for eligibility, where the rules are changing month by month, and failing to check your specific status before the April 8th deadline could mean missing out on hundreds of pounds in travel savings over the coming year. What makes this situation particularly frustrating for many is the stark postcode lottery that has emerged across the different nations of the United Kingdom. If you are watching this from Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland, the news is significantly better, as those devolved governments have maintained the qualifying age for a free bus pass at 60. In those regions, the bus pass remains a vital tool for social inclusion and health, allowing anyone over 60 to travel across the country for free. However, in England, the government has resisted intense public pressure, including petitions signed by over 100,000 people to lower the age to 60. Instead, they are sticking to the plan of pushing the age higher. Even within England, the rules are not uniform. If you are lucky enough to live in London or parts of Merseyside, your local authorities have stepped in to fund their own schemes, such as the 60-plus London Oyster photo card, which still grants free travel at an earlier age. For everyone else, the national rule is the only rule, and that rule is getting stricter. The urgency surrounding the April 8th date involves the administrative rollover of local council budgets and the final implementation of the new age thresholds for the spring season. Local authorities across England have been given the power to offer additional concessions, but with budgets stretched thinner than ever, many are scaling back rather than expanding. If you are approaching the traditional retirement age, you must use the official government Check Your State Pension Age tool immediately to see exactly when your eligibility kicks in. Do not assume that because your neighbor got their pass at 66 last year, you will get yours at 66 this year. The window is closing for the old rules, and the new higher age requirements are becoming the law of the land. Beyond just the age of eligibility, there are also renewed warnings about how and when you can use these passes. The English National Concessionary Travel Scheme is generally restricted to off-peak hours, typically between 9:30 in the morning and 11 at night on weekdays, though you can usually use them all day on weekends and bank holidays. Some pensioners have reported increased scrutiny at the boarding point, with drivers being instructed to check that passes are not only valid, but that the photo remains a clear likeness of the holder. If your pass is cracked, faded, or expiring soon, the April 8th deadline is a vital reminder to get your paperwork in order. Renewing a pass can take several weeks, and with the influx of queries hitting council offices due to these rule changes, any delay in your application could result in a long period where you are forced to pay full fare out of pocket. Social isolation is a growing concern for the elderly in the United Kingdom, and the bus pass is often the only thing keeping many people connected to their doctors, their families, and their local high streets. The decision to raise the age requirement comes at a time when the cost of living is already putting immense pressure on fixed incomes. For a person in their mid-60s who may have had to stop working due to health reasons but cannot yet claim their state pension or their free bus pass, this gap year can be financially devastating. It is a period of travel poverty that many campaigners are fighting against. But for now, the government's stance remains firm. The pass is a reward for reaching the official end of a working life, and that end is moving further into the distance. As we move past early April, the new system will be fully integrated into the Department for Transport's oversight. If you are currently 65 or 66, your first move should be to contact your local council or visit the official government website to verify your status. Do not wait for a letter to arrive in the post, as many councils have moved to digital-first notification systems. You may need to provide updated proof of address, a recent photograph, and your national insurance number to ensure there are no hiccups in the process. The landscape of travel in 2026 is changing, and while the technology on the buses might be getting better, the path to getting on board for free is undoubtedly getting steeper. This policy shift is part of a much larger economic narrative that has been unfolding across Britain for several years. We are seeing a tightening of the belt in almost every sector of public spending, and unfortunately, the elderly are often on the front line of these adjustments. For many, the free bus pass was a symbol of a social contract, a promise that after decades of paying into the system through taxes and national insurance, the state would provide a basic level of mobility and dignity in one's later years. By raising the age of eligibility to 67, critics argue that this contract is being eroded 1 year at a time. The financial implications for the individual are not insignificant. In some metropolitan areas, a daily bus fare can exceed £5. Over the course of a year, an older person who relies on the bus for daily errands could easily spend over £1,000 on travel, money that is now being diverted from heating bills or food budgets. The Department for Transport has defended the move by pointing to the increased longevity of the population and the need to keep the concessionary scheme financially sustainable. They argue that as people live longer and work later into their 60s, the definition of an older person needs to evolve. However, this logic ignores the reality for millions of people in manual or high-stress jobs who physically cannot work until 67. For them, the bus pass was not just a perk. It was a lifeline that allowed them to volunteer, visit grandchildren, or attend community groups that keep them mentally and physically active. Without it, the risk of sedentary lifestyles and the subsequent burden on the National Health Service increases significantly. This is why the April 8th date is so critical. It represents the point of no return for the old eligibility structure. If you are in that precarious age bracket, you must understand that the Council will not automatically send you a pass. You must be proactive. You must apply and prove your age under the new guidelines. Furthermore, for those who already have a pass, do not take its permanence for granted. The new 2026 guidelines include stricter residency requirements. To maintain a valid English National Concessionary Travel Pass, you must be a permanent resident of the local authority area where the pass was issued. If you have moved house recently or spend a significant portion of the year living abroad, your pass could be flagged during the April audit. It is also worth noting the impact of these changes on rural communities. In large cities like London or Manchester, there are alternative transport options and often local subsidies that soften the blow. But in rural England, where a single bus route might be the only way to reach a supermarket or a hospital, the loss of free travel for 66-year-olds is a devastating blow. Many rural bus routes are already under threat of being canceled due to low passenger numbers. By delaying the age at which people can travel for free, the government may unintentionally be signing the death warrant for these essential services, as fewer people will be able to afford the fares required to keep the routes profitable for operators. This creates a vicious cycle of isolation. Fewer passengers lead to fewer buses, which in turn makes it even harder for the elderly to remain part of society. The psychological impact of losing this freedom should not be underestimated. For many pensioners, the bus pass represents independence. It is the ability to decide on a whim to visit a nearby town or a park without having to worry about the cost. Removing that ability for an extra year creates a sense of being trapped. As we head toward the deadline, there are also concerns about the technical rollout of the new pass readers on many bus fleets. These upgraded systems are designed to detect fraudulent or expired passes more effectively, but they have also been known to reject valid passes if the data hasn't been synchronized correctly between the council and the bus company. This means that even if you have a valid pass, the first few weeks after the April 8th change could be fraught with technical glitches. If you are a caregiver or a family member of a pensioner, now is the time to sit down with them and check their documents. Many older people may find the online application processes confusing or overwhelming, especially with the added complexity of the new age rules. Helping them navigate the government gateway or contact the local council office could be the difference between them staying mobile or becoming housebound. The government has also reminded the public that those with certain disabilities are still eligible for a pass regardless of their age, so if the age-related route is closed to you, it is worth checking if you qualify under the disability criteria. This includes those who are blind or partially sighted, profoundly or severely deaf, without speech, or those who have a disability that makes walking difficult. However, the medical evidence required for these passes is also being scrutinized more heavily in 2026 to ensure that only those who truly need the assistance are receiving it. The broader political context cannot be ignored either. With a general election always on the horizon, the treatment of the gray vote is a sensitive issue. Some political analysts suggest that the decision to stick with the age increase is a gamble by the current administration, betting that the economic necessity of the move will outweigh the political fallout. Others believe that the push for local authorities to fund their own schemes is a way of shifting the blame and the cost away from central government. Regardless of the politics, the reality for the person at the bus stop remains the same. The rules have changed, the age has gone up, and the time to act is now. In conclusion, the UK travel update for 2026 is a wake-up call for every resident over the age of 60. The link between the bus pass and the state pension age is no longer a distant plan. It is a current reality that is reshaping the lives of millions. By the time we reach the middle of April, the transition will be well underway, and the 67-year-old threshold will be the new normal for many. If you value your mobility, if you rely on the bus to stay connected, and if you want to avoid unnecessary costs during this period of high inflation, you must verify your eligibility today. Don't let the April 8th deadline pass you by without ensuring your travel rights are protected. The bus is coming, and you want to be sure you have the right pass in your hand when it arrives. This situation is further complicated by the fact that bus operators themselves are under immense pressure. The reimbursement rates they receive from local councils for carrying concessionary passengers are a constant source of tension. If the council doesn't pay enough to cover the cost of the journey, the operator may decide that the route is no longer viable. By reducing the number of people eligible for the pass, the government is effectively reducing the guaranteed income that bus companies receive from the state. This could lead to further service cuts in the very areas where buses are needed most. It is a delicate ecosystem where every change in policy has a ripple effect through the community. The shift to 67 is more than just a number. It is a shift in the social landscape of the United Kingdom. It reflects a world where we are expected to work longer, stay healthy longer, and wait longer for the benefits we were once promised. For the generation currently caught in this transition, the sense of unfairness is palpable. They see their peers in neighboring countries enjoying free travel while they are forced to count their pennies. This regional disparity is one of the most contentious aspects of the 2026 update. Why should a 61-year-old in Cardiff travel for free while a 66-year-old in Bristol has to pay? It is a question that the Westminster government has yet to answer to the satisfaction of the public. As we look forward to the rest of the year, it is likely that the campaign for a national 60-plus bus pass in England will continue to gain momentum, fueled by the frustration of those affected by this month's changes. But until that day comes, the law is the law. You must play by the rules as they stand, and those rules are tied to the state pension age. Make sure your address is correct, make sure your photo is recent, and above all, make sure you know exactly what date you become eligible. The transition to the 2026 rules is a complex administrative task for both the government and the citizen. There will be errors, there will be delays, and there will be confusion. By being one of the people who acts early, you can minimize the risk to your own mobility. Check your status, speak to your counsel, and stay informed. The freedom of the road is a precious thing, especially in our later years, and it is worth the effort to protect it. As the sun sets on the old system this April, a new era of concessionary travel begins, one that requires more patience, more planning, and a clear understanding of the shifting boundaries of the state. Stay alert to any further announcements, as the government has hinted that even more changes could be on the way as they continue to review the long-term viability of all universal benefits. For now, the focus remains on the April 8th deadline. It is the line in the sand for 2026, and every pensioner in England needs to know which side of it they stand on. This period is also a test of the digital infrastructure of the United Kingdom. With more services moving online, the digital divide among the elderly is more apparent than ever. Those who are comfortable using a smartphone or a computer will find it much easier to navigate these changes, while those who rely on traditional phone calls or face-to-face visits may find themselves waiting on hold for hours or traveling to council offices only to find they have moved or closed. This is why community support is so vital during this transition. Local libraries and community centers are often the unsung heroes in these situations, providing the internet access and technical help that many pensioners need to secure their travel rights. If you know someone who might struggle with the online application, offering them 10 minutes of your time could save them a year of travel costs. It is also important to remember that the bus pass is not just for the bus. In many areas, it also provides discounted travel on trams, local trains, and even some ferries. These secondary benefits are often the first things to be cut when budgets are tight, so checking the current list of benefits associated with your pass in 2026 is essential. You might find that a discount you relied on last year has been removed or replaced with something else. The landscape is fluid, and the only way to stay on top of it is to be vigilant. The 2026 travel update is a reminder that in a modern economy, nothing is truly guaranteed. Policies change, ages rise, and the responsibility for staying informed falls more and more on the individual. But with the right information and timely action, you can still make the most of the concessions that are available. The bus pass remains one of the most popular and successful social policies in British history, and despite the rising age of eligibility, it continues to provide a vital service to millions. By understanding the new rules and acting before the April deadline, you are ensuring that you remain part of that mobile, active, and connected community. So, take a moment today to check your documents, look up your state pension age, and make sure you are ready for whatever the new travel rules bring. The future of your local travel depends on it. Furthermore, as the cost of fuel continues to fluctuate and the push for greener transport options grows, the role of the bus in our national infrastructure is more important than ever. The government is encouraging more people to leave their cars at home and use public transport to meet climate goals. However, there is a clear contradiction in asking people to use the bus more while simultaneously making it harder for a significant portion of the population to do so for free. This tension is at the heart of the current debate. Older people are often the most frequent users of buses during the day, providing the baseline demand that keeps many routes running. If they are priced out, the entire system suffers. This is why many transport experts are watching the 2026 rollout with concern. If there is a significant drop in passenger numbers among 66-year-olds, we could see a further decline in service quality for everyone. This is a crucial point for all age groups to understand. The pensioner bus pass isn't just a benefit for the elderly. It is a subsidy for the entire public transport network. Without it, the economics of many bus routes simply don't work. As we approach April 8th, the eyes of the transport world are on the United Kingdom. Will the transition be smooth, or will it lead to a crisis in rural and suburban mobility? Only time will tell. But for the individual pensioner, the priority must be personal readiness. You cannot control government policy, but you can control your own application. You can ensure that you are at the front of the queue, with all your documents ready and your eligibility confirmed. This is the best way to navigate the uncertainty of 2026. Remember that the free bus pass is a legal right once you reach the qualifying age, but it is a right you must claim. It is not an automatic gift. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, it is easy to let these administrative tasks slip, but the financial and social cost of doing so is too high. Think of all the places you want to go this year: the parks, the museums, the homes of friends and family. Each of those journeys is made easier and cheaper by the concessionary pass. Don't let a change in the rules stand in your way. Take the time now to secure your pass for the coming year. The process might be a bit more complicated than it used to be, and the wait might be a bit longer, but the reward is still the same: the freedom to travel across our beautiful country without the burden of cost. This is the essence of the UK Travel Update 2026. It is a story of change, of challenge, but also of the enduring value of staying connected. As the buses pull out of the depots on the morning of April 9th, make sure you are on board, pass in hand, ready to enjoy everything your community has to offer. The rules may have changed, but the destination remains the same: a life lived to the fullest, with the freedom to move wherever the road may lead. Stay informed, stay active, and most importantly, stay mobile. The 2026 update is here, and by acting now, you can ensure that you are ready for the journey ahead. The path to retirement is changing, but with a bit of preparation, you can still enjoy the ride. This is the most comprehensive update we have on the situation as of early April. We will continue to monitor the Department for Transport and local council announcements for any further adjustments to the scheme. For now, the message is clear. Check your age, check your pass, and act before April 8th. Your future travel depends on the steps you take today. In the grand scheme of things, a bus pass might seem like a small piece of plastic, but in the life of a pensioner, it is a key that unlocks the world. Make sure you have yours. The journey continues, and with the right pass, you can be part of it every step of the way. As we look deeper into the administrative changes, it's also clear that the government is trying to streamline the system to reduce fraud. In 2025, there were reports of thousands of passes being used by people who did not qualify, either because they had moved away or because the original owner had passed away. The 2026 update includes a more robust verification system that links the bus pass database directly with the Department for Work and Pensions records. This means that if your circumstances change, your pass could be deactivated almost instantly. While this is good for the taxpayer, it adds another layer of complexity for the honest user who might have a simple error in their records. This is why double-checking your details with the council is so important this month. A simple typo in your address could lead to your pass being rejected by the new electronic readers. It's also a good time to remind everyone that the bus pass is for the sole use of the person named on it. Lending it to a friend or family member, even for a single trip, is a criminal offense and will lead to the pass being confiscated and a permanent ban from the scheme. The authorities are taking a zero-tolerance approach in 2026 as they try to claw back every penny of public spending. For those who are just falling short of the new age requirement, there are other options to consider. Many bus companies offer their own commercial passes for seniors that are cheaper than standard adult fares. There is also the Senior Rail Card, which for a small annual fee gives you a third off most rail travel. While not free, these can provide significant savings for those in the gap year between 66 and 67. Some local charities also operate community transport schemes that provide door-to-door service for those who cannot use the regular bus. These are often run by volunteers and are a fantastic resource for the community. The key is to look around and see what is available in your specific area. The national rule is a baseline, but the local reality can be very different. The 2026 Bus Pass update is a significant milestone in the history of UK social policy. It marks the moment when the post-war promise of early retirement fully collides with the economic realities of the 21st century. It is a moment of transition that requires us all to be more informed and more proactive. By understanding the link to the state pension age, the regional differences, and the administrative requirements, you can navigate this change with confidence. Don't let the deadline of April 8th be a source of stress. Instead, let it be the catalyst for you to get your affairs in order and secure your travel for the years to come. The bus is a symbol of our shared society, a place where people of all ages and backgrounds come together to get where they need to go. By staying on board, you are staying part of that vibrant, moving story that is the United Kingdom in 2026. So, one last time, check your age, check your pass, and get ready for the road ahead. The bus is waiting, and with the right preparation, you'll be there to catch it.